Hey, what's up everybody? I'm so excited to be with y'all today. If you don't know me, my name is Aaron, and me and V&A, my wife, actually kicked this thing off a few months back, and I'm just excited to bring the word today. If you're watching on IG, V&A brought it last week with the Content Life Part 1, and I'm going to be continuing that a little bit today. And if you watched on Facebook, and if you're watching on Facebook, Pastor Gabe, my father, brought a word with the Content Life as well, and I'm gonna be bringing for both of y'all today, so let's get it. But today I'm gonna be continuing on the portion of scripture that they read on last week out of Luke chapter 15, and I'm gonna focus on it was a story about two sons and this father, and it's kind of a well-known story, like the prodigal son and that kind of whole dynamic of that story. But I wanted to focus on the older son. It picks up in verse 25. Luke 15, verse 25, it says, I'm just going to read it really quick for you. It says, "Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when the son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes and wild living comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him?' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'" And I just love this story. And a lot of the time I've heard so many preachers and teachers kind of talk about the first brother, the younger brother. But I've never heard anyone really focus on the older brother, because he has a journey and a progression that he's going through in his life too. And what's crazy is that it's completely different than the younger brother, right? And you can probably think of your siblings right now and understand and kind of already see it in your mind, like, yeah, everyone has a different journey than I do. My brothers and sisters are different. With the older brother, it starts with the fact that he's just comfortable. Life's just good. I'm just happy where I'm at. I'm just in the field, I'm just doing my thing. But the thing is, when you're comfortable, what's wrong with being comfortable? When I'm comfortable, I'm not as engaged. I'm not as passionate about life. I'm just chilling. We live our lives like this. We spend most of our lives working really hard, so what? So I can retire, so I can live comfortably. The problem with living life so comfortable is that, just like this brother who's spending all this time in the field, is that you begin to disconnect, just like him. Out in the field, just doing his thing, comfortable. He began to disconnect. Because the purpose of the older brother being comfortable wasn't just to keep him comfortable. And throughout this talk today, we're going to be going through kind of these progressions that he went on in his journey, just like we do in everyday life. We start somewhere and it progresses to something else and progresses to something else. And where I'm going to take you right now is that the older brother being comfortable wasn't just to keep him comfortable. It was to lead him to a place where he would become calloused. What's that mean? Comfortable to calloused. If you're any experience in working out or anything with using your hands, you start developing these calluses. Because at first it gets really irritated and you're super sensitive to it, but after a period of time, it becomes more comfortable. You become calloused. It doesn't hurt you anymore. It doesn't affect you anymore. Being comfortable in life will always get you to become calloused, which means what? I start taking things for granted all around me. They don't move me like they used to move me. My marriage isn't as hot as it used to be. My relationship with God, how about this one? Isn't what it used to be. It's not as powerful as it used to be. And if there's anybody who can speak on that, it's me right here. Because I've been in the middle of some powerful services and had a calloused heart. And I just show up, just like this older brother in this story. He's out in the field, check this out. He's out in the field and he hears a party. You would think he would run straight to his dad and say, hey, yo, what's going on? But he doesn't call for his dad. What does he do? He calls for a servant. He calls for a servant and asks the servant, the heck is going on with this party? In other words, when you have a calloused heart, you begin to disengage from relationships. And you can be in the middle of God's house, in the middle of something powerful, in the middle of a huge, powerful moment with Jesus, and lose connection with him. And I'm the king of that conversation. You want to be real up in here, V? Yeah? To be singing a powerful song and everybody's feeling it. The presence of God is in the building, in the room. But you've lost connection with him. So it's just a performance. Wow. So you think you just bad. Piano player, drummer, guitar player, singer. You think it's all you. Because you lost connection with who it's really about. Yep. You can show up, people in church, you can show up, have a great conversation with people who are on fire for Jesus, but you forget to have a conversation with the one who matters most. And this doesn't just happen within the context of faith, but also in every single relationship around you. We don't engage like we did in the beginning. We're not as excited, we're not as invested. Think about it right now, just within your relationships that just pop up in your head as I said that. We forget to date the person like you did in the beginning. I had a moment the other day when my sister-in-law told me, you remember when you did this for me when I had this surgery and that surgery? And I'm just like, I did that? Dang, I'm a pretty good dude. That's crazy. We kind of take it for granted. And it leads you to a place of anger, of stubbornness. And this is where the older brother finds himself. He's mad. Because he's calloused, he's mad. He refuses to participate in the party. Things I used to celebrate, now I refuse to participate in. Thing about being calloused is that it's kind of a normal progression in life. Because, come on, anything after the 50th time, the 100th time, doesn't feel the same as the first time. But what if that's just part of the progression in life? Him being comfortable caused him to be calloused. Him being calloused led him somewhere else. It caused him to be competitive. Being comfortable and being callous is taking it easy in life, and you soon find out, and a lot of you have probably found out, that life goes on. Whether you're calloused, comfortable, or competitive or not. Because the people that you used to mentor, or lead, or encourage, it seems like their lives start to get a little bit better than yours. So what happens? What happens when that starts to take place in your life? You start to panic. Because I've been calloused, so you start trying to put people down to make yourself feel better. Wow. And this is what the older brother does to the dad. He comes to his dad and says, Dad, how could you do this for him? Don't you see that what I've been doing? I've been loyal. I've been faithful. Dad, I've done better than he's done. This is just the nature of being competitive. We think, hey, I'm just a competitive person. I just played a football game yesterday. I'm just a competitive person. I'm gonna come at you. You better be ready for it. That's just my personality. where I compare myself to everyone else around me to prove that somehow in some way that I'm better than them. When I was younger, I would do this, just a couple years ago, because of my self-esteem issues and lack of confidence issues within myself. I walk into a room and look around to make sure, yeah, I'm the coolest person here. How like whack is that? Or when dudes have to walk around when they see someone muscular, like, come on, bruh, chill. But the older brother in this story, the purpose wasn't just to keep him competitive. He started comfortable. I hope you're following me. He started comfortable, right? It made him calloused, which made him competitive, which was to lead him to be critical. Another progression. Just picking everything apart. I don't know how I feel about that, V. Who do you think you are? Who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Look at him thinking he can serve in the church. You know what he was doing last night, though? Come on. It's funny because he tells his dad, Dad, why are you throwing this party for this son? He used your money and spent it. It says wild living in some translations. It says prostitutes in another. He was partying it up. He spent it on wild living. Critical. Don't we think, though, critical? It's pretty accurate. He spent his money on prostitutes, getting lit, getting faded. He took his dad's money and spent it on that. Why is that critical? Don't forget in the part of the story that the father divides it between them equally. The older brother got his inheritance too. The beginning of the story says when the younger brother asks, he divides it. You know what I would say? And it's probably taking me some years to get to this point to say something like this. Yo, older brother who wants to be critical, what have you done with what the Father has given you? Wow. Such a simple flip of perspective. Because sometimes within the context of the church, and that's where it gets toxic, we look around at every single other person and think to ourselves, I don't know about that. I don't know about those choices. I don't know that I'd be hanging out with them. Yo, you look kind of, My question for us today is, what are you doing with what God has given you? Yeah. Oh, you talking about everybody else. You think you will level up, but what are you doing? I get that you show up to church. I get that you're watching this video. I get that you say you love God. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah. What are you doing with what God has given you? With your talents, with your abilities, with your life. You play it safe and then you look around at everybody else, and in reality, you're really what? You're jealous. Let's be real. Come on. You're jealous that you don't have the courage to do something that certain people are doing. You're jealous you don't have the courage to, maybe it's stepping in the gym because I don't want anybody else to look at me a little bit weird. You're jealous because you see them posting a video of them singing when you've been wanting to sing your whole life, but you don't have the courage to do it. Or to take a business opportunity. Oh yeah, we make fun of a lot of those people all the time, but because you don't have the courage to do something, what are you doing? Causes you to be critical. And I'm here to tell you today, you were given the exact same opportunity that everybody else got. Yeah. What are you doing with what God has given you? Okay. Yeah. A lot of preachers tell you all these different cool things, but how do you do it? You don't get that a lot of the time. So how do I stop this progression that this older brother, maybe I even identify completely with this older brother and I'm going through this right now. How do I stop this progression? How do I do this? The same way the father does with both of his sons. The younger son comes running down the road, and if I was the father, I probably would handle it like if it was my daughter, if it was Malia. she comes running down the road, I'd be like, welcome back. We're gonna party in a second, right? We're gonna party in a second. But can we just have a heart-to-heart real quick? Can we? And I'm grateful for my family because we do this, like for real. Can we just have a heart-to-heart real quick? Like, what were you thinking? Like, do you want to apologize? What were you thinking in this situation? Like, are you sorry? Are you sorry that you've abused the things that I've given you? Do you see you're wrong here, Malia? Or in this story, you see you're wrong here, son. This isn't what the Father does, right? Like if it's my life, if this is me, I'm gonna try to figure out how I choose maybe a different journey, a different road. I'm gonna try to figure out how I can stop being comfortable. I try to figure out how I can stop being calloused, and how I can stop being competitive and critical. But this isn't what the Father does. The older brother comes to his father, and you know what the Father says? You are always with me, and everything I have is yours. He says this, check it out. But we had to celebrate. Put that in the comments right now in all caps. But we had to celebrate. How does the Father help the younger brother? Son, let's go. We got to celebrate. How does the Father help the older brother? It's not to debate. It's not to debate who's right or wrong. What am I talking about? Gratitude. Why? Because I can't be impatient and grateful at the same time. When I choose to be grateful for the things God has given me today, I can't be impatient about the things waiting for me tomorrow. I can't stay mad at somebody if I'm just so freaking grateful for them. I can't be mad at my parents or at my friends if I'm just so grateful. I can't be mad or irritated or frustrated with my job if I'm just grateful that I got one. Being grateful, when you choose to be grateful, it presses pause and it stops the progression. You don't stop the progression by going to the doctor and them just giving you pills because they don't know what else to do. You don't stop the progression by going just partying your life away or drinking all the time just because you don't know what the heck else to do. You stop it with gratefulness. When I'm grateful, it stops. I can't be irritated or mad, and you can't keep a person at rock bottom that chooses to see in a different perspective, that chooses to be grateful in whatever situation that they're going through. What if the problem you're facing, what if it didn't take you having anxiety and being so overwhelmed about it? What if it just took you flipping the perspective and being grateful? Instead of being unhappy, just being grateful. Because life has a sneaky way of taking you on a progression. And so much of our lives, we live frustrated with our position. And I've come to tell somebody today, it's time to choose. Choose to be grateful. I know it feels like you can't wrap your brain around what's going on or what decision to make, and I'm just here to tell you don't have to. Just be grateful. And you know, it's funny because for me, I literally just talked about this the other day. It's a daily practice because it's hard to be grateful sometimes. It is. Like you hear be grateful. How do I do that? For me, it's a daily practice. Get in my car, I have about a 30-minute drive to work, and sometimes I just get into this dark place for whatever reason. This dark cloud just kind of comes into my car and starts to hover around me. And I just start thinking about all the things in my life that I'm just frustrated about. For whatever reason, situations just bothering me. And I wish I could just figure it out. And this is the problem with most of our lives. You just want to figure everything out. You don't have to figure it out. Because I love what the Father says, but we had to be grateful. I get it. Aaron, yo, you don't know my situation, man. You don't know how dark it is. You don't know how hard it is. You don't know the abuses that I've faced and the situations that I'm going through. You don't know the journey I've been on. You don't know the things that I've lost. You know what? I don't. But I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be at the end of your rope. I know what it feels like to be surrounded by people and still feel like you're all alone. I know what it feels like to have 1 million people around you and still feel like it's just you. Maybe they would just be better off if I wasn't here. I know what that feels like. And sometimes there's times in my life, you know, it's hard to be grateful. It's hard to find something to be grateful for. And sometimes you just gotta say, it's just between me and God. God, I'm just grateful that I'm still here. God, I'm just grateful that I get to see my baby. I'm grateful that I get to have a family. I'm grateful that my bills are paid. I don't have a lot. I wish I could go just buy whatever I want, and a lot of the time we start thinking financially, I know. But I'm still here. I'm grateful that there's times that I shouldn't have been here anymore, but I'm still here. And there's people today that didn't wake up today, but you did. I get that you've lost. I get that things are not what you thought they would be. But choose to be grateful. Choose gratitude. Choose to celebrate. Will you close your eyes with me? Everybody watching right now, V, if you would too, just close your eyes in this moment. Wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever it is, in this moment, I just want to give you an opportunity between you and God just to flip the entire script, to choose a different attitude today, right in this moment, to choose a different perspective. Because this isn't just another video. I believe wholeheartedly that moments like this has power to change everything. If you would just listen in on this prayer with me, God, in this place, in this room, on these screens today, our hearts are open to you. We ask that you would do something right now in our hearts, in our lives, and in our minds. In Jesus' name, amen. Yo, thank you for joining us today. I know it got a little heavy, but hey, sometimes it happens. Choose to be grateful. Put that in the comments for me right now. Choose to be grateful. Thank you for joining us. If it was your first time, message us, DM us. We're so thankful and grateful to have you with us. But until next time, guys, we'll see you.